Ooh, might make your head blow off.
Hey yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male God, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good? Welcome to an all-new episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter.
Say it with me now. Alpha Male God, 51 Spade, a.k.a. the nigga you love to hate. I'm in the building.
You already know how we do this. It's 2 topics in 1 hour, and we're going to jump right in. Our first topic tonight is going to be closure. How, when, and why. And the second topic is, what if they check off every single box except for the one that gets you off? Let's get into it. Let's talk about closure. How, when, and why. I'm going to take a lot of advice from you on this topic in particular because I will admit I feel like I search for closure. I'm still searching for closure from my last relationships. I don't feel like I really have any closure, especially the ones that ended badly. I would say the one I have the best closure with was the last one before my marriage. That last relationship, I think, is because I met my dream guy kind of at the end of that. So it was easy for me to have closure. But I don't think if it wasn't for the new guy that I would have had it. Like I said, I have some other relationships I don't even have closure on, and they've been 18 years over. But I still seek the closure. I still dream about having the conversation about the closure. I need it. So I think my question for anybody, for you, for a therapist of mine is, why do I need it? Because I don't feel like you actually need it to move on. But if I always want it, then I'm always having these continuous fantasies about telling the guy that took my virginity, you didn't deserve it, don't know what I saw in you. I just feel like I want that. I feel like I want to face every guy that did me wrong for me to have closure. And I don't know why. And I feel like it's really, really important. Like, I want them to see me doing well. I want them to see me in my queendom. Because I feel like if they see me now, they would be like, damn. You know what I mean? How could I get a girl like her? Finally, it's the other way around. I feel like when I was younger, and the guys that did me wrong for me are guys that I, for some reason or another, idolized, look up to, thought they were better than me. And now I look back, and the woman I am now, I'm like, I wouldn't even give you a fucking second look. And I feel like I want them to see that girl, and that would give me closure. Even though it might sound dumb to a lot of people, I feel like I need that. And he laughs at me. I'm having a transparent moment here, and it's funny.
No, not funny is in that sense. But I think that, honestly, I feel like you and every other woman come up with this philosophy on looking at the other person, the breakup has happened, it's time to move on, and then you don't move on. And this is for the ones that, whether, you know, they broke up with the person or they got broke up with, they still want to be connected to this person. And I guess my thing would be show off or whatever. So you stay on the Facebook page, you stay on the Instagram, you stay stalking, you stay looking. But my question to each individual who think that is, what purpose does it serve? And the reason I'm going to say what purpose does it serve, because you said 2 key points.
Okay.
2 key points that I heard, and then I'm finna show you something. The first key point that you said is, you said, I want this person to see the person that I am now. The question to you would be is, you know, how did y'all break up? What was the reason that y'all broke up? And the reason I'm saying that, because a lot of times if they didn't give a fuck about you in a relationship, they don't give a fuck about you now. Like, your idea of closure, it sounds like it's more of a revenge type of shit than actually closure. Because keep in mind, if I was to meet one of your exes, and then I say, for instance, like we go together, he still had you. He had you before I had you. What part of he had of you that I have now is basically leftovers. Like, to really be blunt. There is nothing that I have of you now, unless we into some shit like swinging that y'all didn't do, that I would have possessed that he hasn't already had. Because that's what he would throw up in my face. Not throw up in my face, but you get what I'm saying? Like if I was...
He wouldn't give a fuck. I mean...
he had you.
Yeah.
So
you got the cow, but I already drunk all the milk.
So my question to you is, you showing him you, but what about you now is supposed to be the closure that to make him say something?
Well, for me, I think for a lot of women, I don't even think I speak for myself, and I could be speaking for a lot of men too. I think that everybody goes through this ugly ducklings stage. And I'm not talking just a physical look. I'm talking about just confidence in general. I think there's a certain age where you look at yourself in the mirror and you accept what it is you got. And you learn how to walk with that and talk with that. You develop your swag. I don't feel like I had as much swag as I have now back then. I feel like swag in some ways sets the tone for how someone treats you. My guy now says I'm a square. Had someone...
I want to probably say you're right, but go ahead.
Had someone told me that earlier, and I would have recognized that about myself, that I was a square, a lame, not well lived, hadn't seen a lot. If I was more aware of that side of me, I probably wouldn't gotten myself involved with some of these men, because I would have recognized them taking advantage of someone that did not know a lot. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, my swag was off. I was a country mouse, and the men I dated were city rats. So when you have that, like, ooh, that's so pretty type of mentality, people can see that a mile away, and they took advantage of that, just to keep it mild. Now that I've lived a little bit, yeah, I'm still that same country mouse, but I got my swag. So you think because I'm a country mouse, I'm slow, I won't catch on, I won't see things. Now it's a little bit different. So my conversation with you is going to be different. And you're going to say things that I respond to differently. And I think that sets the tone for a whole new playing field. They're not going to do or say or approach me or talk to me in the same way that they did before. And I think I need that. I think I don't want anybody to remember me as that dumb, stupid ass girl that they took advantage of. And if that's the last person they saw, that bothers me. And I am okay with saying that's the last person they saw. And I'm not okay with that.
Okay. But that still doesn't show me or tell me why they would think anything different. Because the reason I'm saying that is because those type of feelings that you have are subjective. You may feel like your swag is on. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting right next to you and I'm like, you seem like a square. Like, that is a subjective type thing. Like, and even when you gain recognition, you can't give yourself recognition. You see what I'm saying? Like,
but I didn't. A lot of
yes, you did. You just said that.
I'm that chick.
You feel that way though. That don't mean it's true. You see what I'm saying? It's like to give the example, it's like Floyd Mayweather calls himself the best ever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But people don't call him the best ever. They say he's one of the greatest of all time. That's an accolade that other people give.
Have given him. Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. So you can't say, well, my swag is on now. Hold on. You feel that way.
No, I've been told that my swag is on Pluto.
See? That's self-explanatory.
Is that not cool?
See what I'm saying? That's self-explanatory right there. So I don't see no one sitting across the desk from you saying, yeah.
I'm just saying. The way they dap me up, the way they show me love, like I get respect out here in these streets.
Yeah, see how you did that? You sound like Rick Ross to somebody. Always talking about lemon pepper wings and stuff. Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things. So my thing is this. When it comes to closure, a lot of times I tell people this. when it comes to closer, your best bet is, I don't really think the other person is going to look at you any different. If they thought you was a lame before, they took advantage of you before, they still view you that same way.
But
now.
they can view that all day. But when they see the person I am, that's going to change. But that's what I seek.
That is subjective. They won't. There are women that I've dealt with, and even now, okay, best example is this. My son used to hear me tell him stories about me, of things that I did before podcasting, while I was in the street and things like that. He didn't believe it. He think that I'm just talking. Then he runs into people in the streets that say, boy, I know your daddy. And your daddy didn't play. See, that's not me telling him. That's when it really sinks in that, hold on, Pop was a G. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to say I was a G to him. I just said about things that I did. But it really sank into him when other people started saying that. So you just sitting down with the person that you broke up with, he's not really going to see any of those things. The things that would probably change a person's mind behind you would be other people that would make him. But you just sitting across from him, you saying, look at me, or thinking he see you on social media or any of those things, they really ain't gonna give a fuck. And if they anything like me, they probably done block your ass. Because most men, like real men, like when we break up with people, we block them. You know what I'm saying? Like I block them off my social media. I block them off my phone. I block them on every which way where there's no contact. I don't wish to see them. I don't need them to see me. Yeah, and it doesn't fuel me by me saying, hey, look what I'm doing now. Hey, look where I'm at now. Because realistically, they probably already saw that. And I'm just now just speaking of me. They probably already saw that. But let's just say, for instance, if I was a fuck nigga, I would still be a fuck nigga to them now. If I fucked them over, it wouldn't matter how bad of a car that I had, how much money that I had. They would still be like, you a fuck nigga. Like he said. I
don't think you really get it from a woman's perspective. Let's use something really basic and common. Okay. A woman that's severely overweight. She's the ugly duckling. And then she goes on the keto diet. She loses all this weight, looks completely different, feels completely different. You don't think just being a basic human being, all the people who may have picked on you from not being able to bend over and touch your toes, or the people that said you didn't look good in a half top, you don't think you want those people, whether it's stupid or superficial or whatever it is, you don't think it's basic human instinct to want those people to see how good they look?
My question to you would be this. Can you do those type of things, and do you do those type of things? So you speaking in hypotheticals. Do you walk out and you like basically what I'm saying is like there was this episode of the Flintstones where it was Fred on the before and then Fred on the after. Barney said to him, he was like, you were standing on the after side. He was like, no, I wasn't. No, you were standing on the before side. You understand? Because it was subjective to him. He thought he was actually on the after side. He was like, no, you was on the before side. And you could feel that way too. Even though you saying like, hey, I lost all this weight. But me just knowing you, I ain't never seen you on a crop top. I ain't never seen you in some of these things that other women would be that I look at on Instagram. That's why I said it's subjective. Just because you lose a little bit of weight is just equivalent to me saying, hey, I gained some money. That's why the woman would be like, I don't give a fuck how much money he got. That motherfucker used to kick my ass, or that motherfucker used to spit on me, or that motherfucker is a asshole. True. I don't care nothing about that car. I don't care nothing about that house. So that's what I'm saying. Just because you can appear to seem a little bit smaller, a nigga gonna say like, man, that bitch still a lame. That bitch probably still green. She probably still doing the same or saying some of the same shit, or still klutzy, still dropping shit, still, whatever the case may be. Like, it's really, I think, more of you. I would say you need to probably go see some counseling.
Therapy. I said that at the beginning, since that's something that I feel like I need.
And on top of that, my question would still be why. It's so many people that be like, I want this person to see them. Like 9 times out of 10, if they didn't care before, they do not care now. There is no woman that you can put in front of me that I used to go with. Let me give you another one.
And this is something that guys do. Okay. 50, just successful men. I've heard them tell the story where they were in class and they came to school as something on a career day and their teacher said you could never be that. They mention these motherfucking teachers in their interviews. They don't mention the people who always told them they had a pretty smile and always said they were well spoken. They mention the motherfucker who told them they wasn't gonna be shit. That's important, whether it's bad or good. It's important to let that person know, look at me now.
Gotcha.
And that gives you closure.
Gotcha. That is a teacher, not a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
What's the
that
difference?
The difference. What is the
Because
difference?
it's a relationship that I've built a relationship with my teachers. It's the same.
Okay, damn, this is crazy. I gotta explain this. Okay, one, the person that is a principal, teacher, or somebody that you were growing up to, those people don't really know you, and they're not invested in you. Now, a relationship, a person is invested in you. They know intimate things about you. Like your teacher doesn't go home and then talk to their spouse and be like, you know what, Kayla is a klutzy motherfucker. Like every time she goes to the chalkboard, she drops shit. You know what I'm saying? Every time she go to the bathroom, she don't even know. I tell her to go left, she go right. Like they don't do those type of things. But you know who do know those type of things? Motherfuckers that's in a relationship with you. They know some of the most deepest, darkest things about you. They probably seen you at your lowest, at your klutziest, intimate, the whole nine. That's hard to erase out of somebody's mind. To be like 100% you change from that person. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I look at people who come successful, money don't unlame a lame. If they was lame back then, they just a lame nigga with money now.
But they still are gonna go back to their same hood, and that nigga you call lame now riding through in his Bentley. And it's important for him to go back home and ride through.
That's called.
So it's definitely not just a female thing. It's a male thing too. Just jealousy, different.
Jealousy, I do not take away. Jealousy is always gonna be here. But guess who ain't jealous? The person that used to beat him up. The person who used to fucking like bully him or some shit like that. Like if you can't go there and whoop that motherfucker ass, that's the only vendetta
that's
that
what
can
a
be.
Man would say
But that's fact. I'm going by man shit. Like you know what I'm saying. Like the person that used to get bullied. That's why they say that. They lead off like that. You used to bully me. You can't bully me now. And they willing to stand on it. They willing to stand and get their ass whooped or whoop his ass. Now. The outcome, we do not know. If the motherfucker is taking MMA and boxing and shit like that, that outcome could pretty much go in their favor. You see what I'm saying? Now we're talking about women. Women have a lot of things that happen to them. They get fucked over or cheated on or some shit like that. You can't take away from that person that did that to you. If they used to beat you up or slap you or what you call them, boy, you ain't finna do that to them. So that means absolutely nothing to them too. And
I just feel like they would look at me because I did get beat up, but I think he would look at me and I think he would regret
why
treating me that way.
Why do you think he feel that? If he was kicking your ass then, why would he regret kicking your ass?
I think I'm a more valuable asset, maybe, and I think that when you see something that you feel like you should have handled with care because it's gone now. I feel like, even if that's a dog that you lost and now you see it with another family, I feel like you can always see like, damn, I should have handled her better. Excuse me if I think that a guy that I spent time with, even if he did me wrong, wouldn't say or see me glow up and say, I should have treated her better. I should have handled her better.
I have identified the problem.
I
have identified the problem. And now I get it. This has always been a woman's problem. Y'all think that the motherfuckers care about fucking y'all over. They don't. I don't. And this is a hard reality to come to terms with. Trust me. Donald Trump don't care about the people he fucked over. He still lives his life. The person who beat you up do not care about your thought process and what you doing. He's still living his life. If I fucked over somebody, I do not care where they are right now. I still live my life. The only person that's wanting closure in this shit, like that, like even though you said, well, that's a guy thing. No, it ain't. You want revenge. You don't want closure. You want revenge.
But isn't that part of closure? Wouldn't that go in that category?
No.
Revenge goes in the category of closure.
No, it actually don't, because you're looking for closure for this person to feel a certain way without any action being taken place. That's why I use the analogy of me getting beat up. If I used to get bullied as a kid, my revenge is not I want to kick that motherfucker's ass that used to take my lunch money. I want to kick that motherfucker's ass who used to always do shit to me. You see what I'm saying? Like that. Why do you think Cobra Kai is so popular right now? That is a goddamn revenge movie. It even have you questioning to the point that you be like, was Ralph Macchio really the good guy? You even come to like questions to yourself to be like, they showed this from one angle. You see what I'm saying? Johnny might have actually been the good guy. But when you see it from one person's perspective, now as you look at the series, you kind of come to the conclusion that I'm not really sure if the Karate Kid was
I think he
good.
he became a villain instead of keeping.
No, he was already like that.
Already a villain.
That's the reason with people playing victim. They already like that. So that's why I'm saying, like, if the person is always a bully, they always look at the other person and be like, oh, well, this person was a lame. Oh, you was a gullible. You ain't going to sell me on the idea that you're not gullible now. Like, you have to recognize that they just a bad person. And if they're just a bad person, you have to move on. The problem is y'all get fixated with, let me show, let me see, let me look. But the person has to care. And if they do not care about you, they don't care. You have to let it go. Y'all got to let it go. Y'all really do. A lot of times, if someone actually views you as a lame, they view you in how they took advantage of you, it's going to be really hard to kind of sell them on the idea that you are a better person. That what you want is just revenge. Revenge is one of those things that I feel it gets people caught up in scenarios, like people wondering, why did the person leave? Why did this person, we had a baby together, why are we not married? Why we didn't? And you become obsessed. Obsessed to the point where you even become sometimes even lamer than this cool person that you're claiming that you want to be or you want to show to the other person. The best thing is kill them with kindness. Don't even pay attention. Block them. Y'all block game need to become a whole lot stronger too.
Because that does say a lot. I do know the power in a block. I know the power of a block because I've been blocked, but I've recently used that power, and it does feel good until
feels great.
It does. It really does. But it feels good until you have a big life event. You know, you get married, or you buy a new house, or I'm trust me, if people, I'm sure I'm gonna get beat up for wanting people to see this, but I'm human and I'm going to be transparent for the show. I think it's important to get this kind of thing out because I'm serious. If there's something wrong with me for that, I need to seek someone to speak to about it. But especially my abuser, I want my abuser to see me shine. I want him to see.
Why would he care? He's not gonna care. I'm gonna give you the answer to that.
I don't know if I really believe that he won't care.
That's the problem. That is the absolute problem of that. You believe that an abuser, you believe an abuser care about you succeeding in life.
I want him to be sorry. I want him to be regretful. I
can ride with you on. You want the person to be sorry. The issue with that is that statement that you made right before that. I want my abuser to view me that way. He didn't give a fuck about you when he was abusing you. So he ain't gonna give a fuck about you now. And that's one of the things that a lot of women... But isn't
the abuse a part of the lack of respect or the lack of value he saw in me as a human being? Because I felt like that. I felt like he treated me, especially towards the end, and some of the things he did to me, I felt like he just looked at me as lower than him. And now I questioned myself because the things he had attained and all the things he had, I was nowhere near that. So I may have bought into the narrative that he was just better than me. And I have this person that I need to appreciate having because I have way less and he could have anyone that he wants to have. So for me now to have grown up, I want him to see that.
But that's subjective. And the other thing is, if he went through all these things to do that, I would ask you to tell me about his personality. Did he come off that way to other people? Did other people see him as an asshole? Did other people kind of question his abuse of you and this and that? If that was a yes check across the board, then he don't give a fuck about you now. The only person that would even care about that is if they decided to change their life. And that wouldn't be anything based upon you to go through these steps to be like, damn, I'm sorry I did this to you. I fucked you up. And that would be your closure. But you just talking about, well, look at me on IG and look at me do a podcast and look at the celebrity journalism shit. That if he didn't give a fuck about none of that shit then, he don't give a fuck about none of that shit now. And that's just the reality of it. Sometimes.
But what if this person was like, you'll never be shit. You're never going to accomplish the things that you said, and then you pull it off. I think you hit a trigger with me when you said, oh, he won't care that you're in celebrity journalism. Lies. Because I always used to say, this is what I want to do, and he always used to say, that's bullshit, and you never will. So when you do it, do you not want that person to see you doing it? Are you kidding? Am I wrong for wanting him to see that?
No, you're absolutely not. Where you're wrong at is saying this will be closure for you. You're wrong at thinking that would be closure for you because you don't have a window into that person's soul to say that this person is remorseful. Like, when I got cheated on from another woman, I could see in the windows of her eyes, her soul and stuff like that, and see that she wasn't remorseful. So that's how I know that she wouldn't give a fuck whether I moved on or regretted what she did to that, because you would see that 9 times out of 10 right there. I'm not saying that every person is like that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, from what I saw, that was who she was, is a person. So now you have to look at you and say, well, this person was an abuser. Does this person who used to abuse me, used to abuse my friends didn't like him, my mama didn't like him, none of these people liked him, it's a pretty high chance that he won't look at your life and say, damn, I fucked up. Now, also, it could also be like you giving yourself a little bit too much credit. So that's why I said he might not care. Now, if you're saying to yourself is, look, I'm a movie star, I reach Oprah status, this and that. This is something no one can ignore. The whole world
already knows,
sees that. Okay. And then those people will say, damn, you used to fuck with Kana?
Right, yeah.
That might be a little humble pie. They'll be like, damn, how you let that get away?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
And I think that's what it is. That.
Boy, this nigga's good, ain't
that is fantastic. And I think everybody wants to attain that moment. And I think on your way there, you want to show people, you want to show off. And sometimes that could backfire.
Yeah, but that's that's not true for every single person, because some people, it backfires in worst possible scenarios and worse ways. If you look at somebody like recently, we lost PMB Rock, but what people don't really talk about is he actually had fell off. Like, you really didn't hear music or anything coming from him. He was kind of on his come up. So what makes you more sad about it is like, you're like, damn, he was on his come up, and then he gets robbed for his jewelry or whatever the case may be. And my thing for especially black people is that is the problem. In the black community and with our black culture, we always trying to show off. You know how many times I've been around a bunch of like white people and they don't wear expensive jewelry.
Oh, they look
like
poor.
They billionaire. They look poor. Like you look at Mark Cuban. Like Mark Cuban, they sitting around in diamond studded earrings and a designer suit. Like on occasions where he's going somewhere, but when you see him, he in jeans and flip flops, and that's the problem with the black community. Always want to show off. Always want to show what we got. Sometimes showing off shit that is that we think is way higher up and way more people care about, and it attracts bad attention more than good attention. So my thing is, to have real closure, just move the fuck on. Just move on. Block the person. Live your life. Be happy with the person that you with, or live life happy by yourself. You should not care about what other people care about or think about you. And this is something, especially in the black community, that we just thrive off of so much. We look at this one rapper. Oh shit, this is the rapper starter kit. Diamond,
rapper starter kit.
Diamonds in the teeth. $25,000 jewelry and shit like that. But then you look at somebody like Jay-Z, who has more money than all of them and not wearing not a lick of jewelry. Yeah. Not one lick. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Snoop Dogg is older. One chain. You know what I'm saying? Ice-T recently was like, West Coast rappers, we didn't even wear jewelry. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's one of these things where it's like, people want to show off, but sometimes that is not the correct thing or correct closure or close anything. That's about you, and you need to go seek help about that.
Yeah, I agree. We can check that off the box, a little self-help from relations. So let's get into some more boxes. What if he checks off all the boxes, but not the one that gets you off? That's the topic. I'm against not checking off all the boxes. And I'm going to put myself out there again for purpose of being transparent. I haven't always been like that. The men I dated in my life checked off 2 boxes. And all the rest of them was empty. Now it's the opposite. Now I feel like I value myself more and I'm worth waiting on all the boxes to be checked off in order to have me at the level that I give myself. Meaning I give a lot in a relationship. So because I can be taken advantage of, I don't have the opportunity to not have a box checked. I have to have all the boxes checked. But I will say I've only been this way for the last I've been in a relationship for 7, maybe for the last 8 years of my life have I said, I'm not slumming. They gotta check off all the boxes. I'm worth that. And 8 years is not a long time at all to feel you are worthy of every box being checked. So I'm not with the box not being checked, but I have met women that say, hey, if he checks off every box and maybe the one box is the I don't get off, I'm cool with that because it's not that big deal to me. If you're that person, then this is not a conversation for you. If you're okay with not getting off, you don't think you deserve to get off, cool. Leave that box empty. I'm against that. I think I can have it all. I think I can hold out and wait for the guy who does everything and gets me off. Why should I settle for the guy that can't make me come just because he can pay all my bills? That says something about me, I think.
It says a lot.
So that's my opinion on that.
Gotcha. One day I would like to drink or eat whatever it is that females eat and drink of this bullshit that you talking right now. Day in and day out, I hear women say this manifestation shit. I can have it all. I'm sick of this bullshit that women, day in and day out, drinking this Kool-Aid, drinking this ham sandwich. And I don't even like ham. You know what I'm saying? But it is mighty peculiar that day in and day out, I hear women say, I want this person to check off all the boxes. No such thing. And trust me, in your mind, whatever it is that you painting, and I know it's delusion. You don't even have to say. I know it's delusion. Sometimes people win by default, and they just, that's the issue. They win by default, and they be like, I'm never getting back out there, and they find themselves right back the fuck out there. I done seen it happen over and over again. My aunt is 50-something years old, got married at 21 or 22, and guess what? 50 single out here dating and saying this is some bullshit. So you can manifest all this shit talking about because she thought she had it all too. You know what I'm saying? Everybody feel that way at some point in time. Now, the correct answer, I feel like this is a trick question, but you know what? Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'll go ahead and hang out there. This is a topic that was set up for men. Will a man stay with a woman that does not check off the sex category box? Now, this is a real tricky question. Some men will. They'll even stay in that relationship. Now, the question is, will he be faithful? No. Now, this is where shit goes awry. You know what I'm saying? It goes totally left. I see there's men who stay in sexless marriages, sexless relationships, just all kind of bullshit that's going on. Then they get busted cheating, and the motherfucker be like, how dare that motherfucker? That bitch was cooking and cleaning and this and that. She was doing everything but sucking dick. She was doing everything but, you know what I'm saying, giving up that wet spot. Like, he would come home, I got a headache. I don't feel like it. I was working all day. I'm tired. And the nigga just gotta pack it in and be okay with that shit. And then the minute he go out cheating, it's like, you ain't have to do all that. So no, absolutely not from the standpoint of a guy. If my female don't check off them boxes with me, that sex box, she's gone. And this is this case closed for me. But that's because of who I am as an individual. I know there's plenty of men who will stay in those scenarios. I'm just stating for me, I'm not staying in that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm too sexually active. I like different pussies. I just got a lot going on. Maybe I'm sick. I can ride with that too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I look in the mirror every day and I'm cool with that. Now for women, it's a lot different. I see women a lot of times with, they say shit like, you know, and it doesn't really make sense, but you know, let's go there. We see women who be with, we're not gonna say any names. We see them with celebrities where you know everybody know that motherfucker ugly, and we like, how in the fuck did that happen? That had to be for money. Mm-hmm. And women will stay there for that type of shit. Yeah, they check off every other box in that shit,
except for the one that gets.
And I'm not saying they ain't getting fucked. What I'm saying is they are willing to look past the look check box and say, I'm cool with the money. I'm cool with the whip. I'm cool with them getting the car. And I'm cool with the sex. His look, yeah, I'll just settle for that. And some women do that. Mm-hmm. Some women will say some shit like, hey, long as the man can make me laugh, I'm cool with that shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But those boxes for men are totally different. You know what I'm saying? When we look at celebrities or we look at someone who is like above us, it still boils down 9 times out of 10 to the looks. Because for men, we are visual creatures. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at Beyonce and be like, damn, man, that bitch is rich. Damn, that bitch can sing. Damn, I'll be like, what that mouth do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is she?
All the things, when you see Beyonce, you're thinking about how she sucks dick.
I be wondering, is
something is so wrong with that.
I mean,
why?
I mean, put it like this. I'm not the only person that looks that way. Because see, how you said that right there, I'm a little offended. Because the way you said that to me, you was like, damn, you looked at her and was like, wonder how she sucked dick? That was one thought. The other thought.
Suspended. Y'all done did it.
Beyonce. That was a good one.
You killed it.
That's good. That was a good one. Can't talk about Beyonce. But I actually was going to say, the real question was, they questioned Jay-Z. That was the question that initially popped up. Because everybody was like, well, that nigga like Joe the Camel on the packing them cigarettes. So the question wasn't really how she looked. They was questioning how he looked. And that's what I'm saying. Because in reverse, we know what he saw. He saw how she looked. And it wasn't about money. It wasn't about any of those things. Mm-hmm. It was about, damn, she's a beautiful, sexy, attractive woman. The question mark was him. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, imagine he ain't getting that sex. Now, we know he is because he popping out babies. Mm-hmm. But just imagine, now you got Beyonce and she like, shop closed. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no soldier. I ain't any of that shit. Like, even think about some of these rappers. You know what I'm saying? You know how disappointed I would be to get, you know what I'm saying, Meg Thee Stallion and she ain't doing that shit she talk on records. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? She ain't, you know what I'm saying, dropping his hot, sucking your dick from the back, doing some of that shit. Not saying I like that, but I'm just saying, you know, she ain't doing some of those things. Are you serious? Megan Thee Stallion would be gone.
Right. I get that. That's kind of like our thing with the whole Fabio mentality. If they look good, then they probably don't fuck good. You know? And when you said women do that all the time. This whole conversation, I really couldn't think of women who do that, but that's pretty much every woman in fucking Hollywood. Like Anna Nicole Smith did that. Erica Jane did that. Several people married older, I think, is what I blocked out. Because they were older, and they married because they're rich.
They want that security.
And so when I think of it from that perspective, if I'm being transparent, because there's somebody out there like, that bitch is lying. If she met fucking Sugar Ray Leonard now, even at his fucking age, she would marry him. You know, I will be transparent and say, if I met someone I think could provide me the above average lifestyle, then I might consider sacrificing getting off, because I also feel like, even though it's probably a very evil thought, I also feel like if I'm living that type of lifestyle and my husband can provide that type of lifestyle, he's probably not around a lot. So I feel like I could set myself up for extracurricular activities that would get me off. And that would make me, if I'm in survival mode, which I think if all of us are being honest, at some point in life, I think most of our life, unless we are not worried about paying a bill, all of us are in survival mode. And so when you have this person in front of you that's saying, hey, you'll never have to work again, you can buy your mama a house, I'm sorry, but my dick doesn't get hard, but you can have anything in the world that you want, I think would be pretty dishonest of me to sit here and say I would not consider that lifestyle, knowing that I could probably find my way around to getting off at some point. But I could get myself set up in this world for a long time to come and worry about that. No pun intended.
Well, you speaking like that because, like I said, you're a woman.
Yeah.
See, women are often non-topic. See, y'all, the problem is y'all have too many opportunities, and that's why y'all able to say no to a lot of shit. Like, bitches be going to the fucking grocery store getting hit on. No, thank you. I don't need no dick today. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? At the gas station shit. Hey, mom, no, thank you. I already have one. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit don't happen to men.
True story.
You know what I'm saying? Men ain't going in Walmart or going in some grocery store and some bitches. Girl, did you see the nigga on aisle 7? And it's a whole line of women that's just like, hey, take my number. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then that's why we have the attitude that you said that you don't like, that we fantasize or we think we can have it all. It's because, especially me, I'll be honest. When I met my husband, there were still some people lingering around showing their hand now. My husband just beat the other hands. My husband was not my only choice. He was the best choice. He wasn't my only choice. But that is what took me from feeling like I was a 6. Let me take that back. Feeling like I was a 10. Let me take that back. That took me from feeling like I was just a 6.5 to now feeling like I'm a solid motherfucking 8. I'm not going to give myself a 10 because we know this Kevin Samuels conversation. But I really felt like most of my life, even after college, after losing a little bit of weight, I've always felt around a 6.5-ish. When I met my husband, and then other people was like, okay, wait a minute, let me show you this. And then another nigga was like, hold on, let me show you this. When I and they were at a level that I could get with. They weren't bums. Then I said, okay, I have value. Because I have someone who's interested in committing to me, and other people are showing me now what I can pull. Not whether I would have got with them and make the wrong decision, but I knew at least they was on the fish hook. And in order to get on my hook, they had to be somebody. And that's what gave me this, well, I could have it all attitude. Because people were after me for a change, and they weren't bum ass niggas. One may have been married. He didn't check off all the boxes, but he wasn't no bum either. You understand what I'm saying? It's just collectively, the value of the people who are trying to get my attention had value themselves. So I felt like I should value myself. If I can pull him, then I'm okay. I'm not going to be a lonely lady with dogs all my life. I will find someone to marry me. You understand what I'm saying? And that's when we elevate. And I don't think that's wrong. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that shit. This is how bitches end up by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard all that long-winded shit, this and that. See, the problem with it is this. And this is the one thing that, for people who don't know who Patrice ONeal is, he's a comedian. You know what I'm saying? I heard him say this one time, and this is the one thing that I will tell you, and I want everybody to listen to this. And this is about men. A lot of times, believe it or not, the man settles for you. The man is not really where he is, and that's why sometimes men actually, if a man decides to get rid of the woman, including your ass, it's because he might have not reached a potential of where he at. I have a couple of homeboys who transcending, I'm transcending, and we get to certain points. I'm in a relationship right now, and that could be the person that I settle with. But at some point in time, once I reach real high status, I can look at my woman and be like, you know what?
I can do better.
I can get this. So all that shit that you blabbering about, like, oh man, this person could show his hand, this and that. One thing men understand is men are not loved unconditionally. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. You know what I'm saying? You even know this by the conversations that we have. When men have conversations with other men and you meet a woman, what do a man say to another man when they talking to a woman? I mean, to their homeboy. Damn, I met this chick, man. You know, you need to see her. All the men say only one thing. What she look like. What she look like. A woman meets a man and she talks to all her homegirls.
How much money you got?
They all say the same shit. What does he do? You know what I'm saying? Not what he look like. What does he do that can benefit you? What does he do that you can take? What does he do that benefits your life?
Yeah.
And men understand this shit. You know what I'm saying? At least smart men understand this shit. So I understand that. You can have that Cinderella, you know what I'm saying, icing on the top.
But do you honestly, I want your opinion, you think that's wrong for a woman to say, oh my God, especially if she had Pookie as suitors at one point. Then she had college ball players who didn't give a fuck at one point. And then she got into a space where it's like, okay, these are professionals. Speak well. These are people who, I'll say this, look good on paper. And she's attracted to them. She's not making any sacrifices right or left. She's just now saying, okay, out of these 4 valuable men, who is the best? And if she's having that conversation, if she's having a conversation with herself about 4 men of value, isn't that a reflection of her?
It's a reflection of her, but it also, I don't feel that women make smart decisions when it comes to those type of things. Reason being is because even though you choose those things, some women overvalue themselves. And that's what I'm hearing is you talk. Okay. You overvalue yourself saying, well, hey, you told, like, you sound like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you sound like a Donald Trump or somebody that's basically cocky. Like, hey, I met my husband and he always steal other people showing hand. Well, guess what? The same hand that other niggas is showing you, you got to remember that he he is a married man. And him being a married man, now he has all the options in the world because it's not as you put a target on his back that every bitch right now was like, well, shit, you know what? He's full of commitment. So all I got to do is take his ass from him. And I watched a woman just the other day, a side chick was like, I know he married, but he gonna keep that commitment he made to me. He said he was gonna leave his wife, and that's something that the wife wasn't gonna but this bitch said, even though he's married, he's mine. So you could feel a certain way. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that. But sometimes I feel like women overplay their hand. You know what I'm saying? Because as y'all get older, there's always a 2.0 of you. Yep. There's someone always younger.
Always somebody ready to take your spot.
Wetter. You know what I'm saying? Willing to go the extra mile. Yeah. So you also have to keep that in mind that it's nothing wrong with your wants that you have. Nothing wrong with your wants. But to sit there and say, I can have it all, I just don't believe that.
Well, if I got out of my relationship, if I was to divorce my husband, I would certainly be okay with being abstinent until I found someone like my husband or better. There is no way I would digress. And I'm okay with that. I understand things but I also know on the other side of my relationship that I'm not going to be alone because I'm going to take that same attitude. I had suitors, and I'm going to get out of my relationship and remember that I had suitors. Now, one thing you did say, and one thing that Kevin said is, the older you get, the less value you actually have. So,
Facts.
and I understand that, and I won't forget that point. Is that I might be out of my relationship at 60. Well, what do I have to offer? A
Bingo.
new suitor at 60 years old. So I get what you're saying.
Bingo 53. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
That's what you have right there.
Yeah.
And that's my whole point. So when someone don't check off every box, I would say for me, a sexual box for me is a lot and is everything. If you look at the divorce rate that go on in the United States right now, there's two things that actually causes divorce, and that's sex and finances. If those two things ain't in order, 9 times out of 10 the relationship can implode at any point in time. Someone's either tired of carrying all the weight, or they in a sexless marriage. So all them other boxes of he was nice, you know what I'm saying, he makes me laugh, this and that, after as time go by, those shits will start to get on your nerve. My lady gets on my nerve, you know what I'm saying? And then I have to struggle with, should I get rid of her? And then I remember, any bitch I get is gonna get on my goddamn nerves. You know what I'm saying? Not only her. So now I gotta pick carefully about getting rid of her and inheriting a different bitch with a different problem. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that I'll be thinking about. That's it. I'm not thinking about her ass and shit like. I'm like, I'm dealing with the shit show that she shows me. Now if I exchange her out for someone else, she bringing a shit show too.
Yeah.
She ain't coming in with just smooth sailing.
Yeah.
She's coming in with some other shit that either I'm gonna hate, and I decide on whether I want to deal with the new shit show that she's bringing to get rid of this motherfucker that I already have. But as far as having everything I want, I know that's impossible. I ain't met no bitch to this day that cannot not get on my nerves. Cannot show me some shit.
So that's the box that remains unchecked.
Yeah. I ain't met one yet. Every time I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And then I just look at other people that's around me and shit. I ain't got what he got. That's some other shit going on. That's the only thing that can balance me the fuck out. Like if I look at I look at one of my homeboys and shit, and he's more depressed than me, I'm like, well, you know what, my bitch don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I had to go by. You know what I'm saying? Man, she don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And if she start doing that shit, then I know to get rid of her.
So basically, choose the one with the least amount of shit you gotta do.
Yes,
There you go.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as an all-around box of this shit that Kane are talking about. Like, they're going to be perfect, and they're going to check off every box. That is impossible.
It is impossible. I wouldn't say perfect. I would just say perfect for me. Or not perfect, but perfect for you. And I think that's completely attainable. And I also think that just in hindsight, not going to change anything in this world, I know. But in hindsight, I think I was worth the wait. Mm-hmm. I think that I definitely should have practiced chastity. I think I should have held out. I think that until I glowed up, I should have not engaged. I set myself up for being hurt because I didn't value myself enough to say no thank you. And I think that's why I have the attitude that I could have all my boxes checked off, because I think I'm worth it. And I think as long as, now will it happen? I'm realistic. No one's ever going to check off all your boxes. But as long as you go out into the world believing that you deserve all the boxes to be checked, I think you'll come up with more of them checked than not. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say. I mean, shit. I mean, everybody approaching from a different standpoint. I mean, honestly, it might sound like how y'all manifest shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily sure if manifest shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to say I had a cadence that I was saying to myself. And I was always like, you know what? If I find a female that can bring me more pussy, she deserves to get married. And that's the only point that I needed to stand by. I didn't have to stand by other shit that most other people would quote on. You know what I'm saying? But try selling that to another female. It's like, that's what got you down. It would look kind of crazy to them. But that is my standard of what I wanted to go by. So I'm cool with that. Knowing the simple fact that I could get that. And I'm cool with that. I wouldn't care what anybody else think. I wouldn't care, because that was the main box that I needed checked off for me. And then, and as you can see, even though you said all them other boxes, the high box for me was more pussy. And it's still sex. The box that you was talking about, you should live without. Not me. I think every man at some point in time is like, that is an important box to check.
Yeah.
Imagine a man being in a sex man. These bitches got toys and shit, roses, all these type of things. You ever seen a man in his 30s and 40s jacking off? It sounds creepy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Women
No,
can rub nuts off until, you know what I'm saying, 60 years
And
old.
it's glamorous, honey.
And nobody says anything
It's
about that shit. They
glamorous.
have all kind of toys and all kind of shit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The minute a man goes out and get a sex toy or get caught jacking off,
could be a
it's
serial
perverted.
killer. Yeah.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? She
could
could
be
be
a
saying a
serial
serial killer. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That type of shit.
Yeah.
Nah. I need that box checked off. It's very high. I don't care about the other shit.
Well, you heard it here, guys. That is the top of the hour. Now it's time for our tap in. Do we actually have one?
Of course we do.
All right, awesome.
I mean, we have to talk about, of course, the I'm a Doka. I'm not, sometimes I have a hard time saying his name, but of course the Celtics head coach getting caught cheating. And there's a lot of speculations that's going on, but basically in a nutshell, they're saying like he was a man in power. He was suspended from the Boston Celtics for this entire season. But the main question that has popped up and came along with saying that he was a man in power, but he is the only person that is being crucified when it was two people involved in this. And there was a lot of backlash, mainly with newscasters, especially female journalists, saying that they are in support of not suspending both of them. That if he's a man in power and he actually violated their what's it called?
Code of conduct.
He violated their code of conduct. That why does the woman who has a job there, why does she got to be, you know what I'm saying? Why
is she exonerated?
Yeah, why is
isn't
she
in the
exonerated?
press? Yeah.
And men who came in the sports world that said, hey, accountability, it is like night and day. You had women that was actually upset, like, why y'all always trying to blame men? And this woman is married. This woman is married too. This woman is married too. But she's at that organization too. If she's at the organization, she had to break it too. But supposedly it's different because, and I understand the power dynamic. I do. And I do know that it's more into this. We don't know all of the things. We don't know all of the details and stuff like that. But the main question is, do you feel anything is wrong with them just going after
Focusing
one person?
on him?
Yeah, just going after one person because he is the head coach. He is a man in power. She is someone that is underneath him. But do you believe that, hey, he broke the code of conduct?
Both of them deserve to be suspended. His penalty could be a lot more dramatic because of who he is in his position, but both of them deserve to. No one deserves to be exonerated. If it was consensual, they both broke their employer policy, so both of them deserve to be reprimanded for it. I think the easy route is always to blame the man. Again, on the show, I'm going to say, like I've said 1,000 times, I'm more of a fan of man than anything. And I think they are the easier target to blame, especially men in power now have become targets because we're in the middle of a movement. And it's important because we're fighting for so many other rights, we kind of have to go hard on everything. We can't say, well, no, we can't go hard on this one. We have to kind of go hard on everything across the board. So I understand what's happening, but I do stand by that it's absolutely wrong. It is absolutely wrong. And I think that she should be is penalized to some degree, just like he is being penalized.
I just want to say this, I don't know everything that's going on. We can only do the speculations of what information that we do have. There's been speculation also that not only was he sleeping with that woman, and like I said, this is speculation. Not only was he sleeping with that woman, but he was also sleeping with players' wives. There's been other speculations of things that have came out. Matt Barnes not too long ago, he did an interview I think the other day on Vlad TV saying like, hey, if some of this stuff that comes out, he'll probably never coach again. So I know it's more severe than just him sleeping with the other women. But what I also will say is this. it's amazing to me in 2022 that all these women with all these rights be like, we don't need men. We are strong as men. We can handle everything. We good to go. You know, like men ain't shit. Men don't make money. It's and that all the way until they run into a powerful person. And when they run into a powerful man who has money and all this type of shit, all of a sudden they convert right back to women and a victim. Almost all the time. Now I can speculate what happened, and my thing is, like you said, to me, one of the things that could have possibly happened is, like I said, she is married. She is risking losing her husband. She is risking losing her job, and I can see her easily saying, I felt like I didn't have no choice. I felt like because of who he is and him being the head coach, I felt like I had to suck his dick. I felt like I had to do these type of things. And I could see her backpedaling. And it's public perception, because in the United States, that's what we go with. Who is more believable? Her telling this story or him saying it didn't happen like that? And someone always gonna fall on their shield. And to me, 9 times out of 10, that will always be man. Regardless of all these other speculations and shit like that, I think it's a fucked up scenario. I want to be as biased as I can, but it's unbiased. Unbiased as I can. But it's still amazing to me that even now, as much as women say women's rights and we want equal this and that, they want to be equal all the way till we up to punishment time, and then we become a victim. Then we become, I didn't know what to do. I was caught in a situation. This man was a powerful man, and I felt I had to. And I just don't agree with that. If that's an organization with the Boston Celtics, you, just like a union, anything else, you protect the whole family. And they should have kept it in house. So my real issue with it is that they put him out there, is really the fall guy, and knelt him to the cross, and everything is spewing out the way that it is. But if you're gonna do that, then hold all parties accountable. He broke the code of conduct. So the fuck did she. Mm-hmm. So she need to be done with. Of course, people are not gonna know who she is, and you are right. They're gonna know who he is. So I do not absolve Udoka. I don't absolve him. You fucked up. But but even with that being said, I just don't like this narrative of it's different strokes for men and women and all across the board with a lot of things, and this shit is just starting to get out of hand. Like, the narrative is the goalpost is always moving in these scenarios. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, that's it for us, guys. It's been another episode of Relations. Remember to tap in on our IG page. Just simply send us a direct message with your question or comment. I can be found at Kayla Lassiter at Twitter and on IG.
Hey, you can follow your boy on both platforms. That's Twitter and IG. I do want to thank everybody that was joining on TikTok. If y'all was in that live, or I know y'all see that I just got banned real quick, so it is what it is. But if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, you get to see the rest of the show. So make sure you click like and subscribe so you can get notified. That way when the show come out, you back in the game. Just like that. And again, I want to thank everybody. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for these shirts, you can find it at Alpha Male God Creation. And hey, I hope y'all enjoyed yourself. And I'm going to sign us off like I always do.